Hello. This is the first day of the new, not the first day, first month of the new year of 2024, and it's just a few things that I want to discuss. First of all, God bless you. Um, God bless you. You're doing a wonderful job wherever you are in life, and it only gets better from here. Everything always gets better from the bottom. um, yeah, so I love you, and I just want to discuss a few things that I experienced in 2023 and further back. And just some words of advice and love, I guess, before I even get into those topics. Be present. Be present, be calm, and be aware. Be present, and there's some things that you'll never be this age again. We'll never be 21 again, 18 again. We'll never have those opportunities again. But don't get it twisted that we don't want to be 20 again unless we have the knowledge that we gained at the ages that we are now. And I guess I see that because for some reason, I don't know, people create their own dramas in their head. Young people think we want to be them, and most of us look younger and probably doing better and healthier than them. But no, we don't. We don't. I know me as a woman, I'm not intimidated or I don't want to be 18, 19, 20 right at this time. I'm happy where I am in life. And with that being said, that's why I say be present, because I'll never be this age again. I'm going to be older, things, and your body's going to start deteriorating, your health starts reversing, just a part of life. I guess maybe in preparation for a new life. I'm not exactly sure, but it is a blessing to be present, to enjoy just what's going on around you now. There's normally things in your life that you have now that you once prayed for. If you were consistent in moving forward, every year there's something that you have, your connection with God, your health, shape, your intelligence, maybe a degree, maybe a relationship, um, maybe your status as being a parent. Everything matters, and you matter. I'm one of those people who definitely, probably not in the same way. My understanding is usually different from other people, but all people and lives matter. I am more see my people as people of God, but I also have to be critiqued with that because I don't feel like I represent Christianity. I had a lot of people who say I am Christian, and they have been mad evil to me. They have been mad evil to other people. They're not good people, and Christians have done some things in our lives that are not good, you know. So it's kind of hard to put me in any type of group. I had a family member ask me that they was trying to be like me, and they wanted to be Christian. They thought I was Christian. I believe I am Christ-like. I believe I was raised to pray to and allow Jesus to work into my life and to um, follow the biblical representation of a good person. And I think people interpreted that person totally different, because a lot of things that we judge and critique people about, this person that I read in the Bible did not. He loved a lot of people who people try to say that's over with and you're not a good person, and you're not any good, and you're not worth anything, you're not valuable in this world, are the main people that he loved. And I believe that is the person that I represent. Um, um, Dang it, I feel like I hate when I go so off topic. Um, so yeah, I'm just a person who don't feel that I am better than anybody, and I don't feel that people are better than me, and I don't feel that those people are better than anybody else as well. I'm happy, I'm proud of any accomplishments that you made, especially if they weren't just given to you and handed to you. I'm shocked at the people who are given things and handed things, and they feel better than people, and they know that they didn't earn things. Um, yeah, because I feel that people who earn things um, are better off in positions to lead. The people who have not always had things handed to them and had to work their way up. I think that the best person to explain how to do something is a person who had to do it, not a person who had to take credit for somebody doing things. So, like I said, in my way, I'm not being disrespectful to people, but I just feel that you shouldn't be disrespectful. I guess some people feel like I've heard that some people feel like there's a difference between workers and what you say, you're a worker. There's a few songs, you're a worker, I'm a boss. Um, I feel like workers should have an opportunity to be a boss, and a boss should be somebody who had been a worker and not somebody who had limited work, not somebody who had specialized situations, but somebody who had to work from the bone and learn how things have high expectations and good ideas. But anyway, I guess I'm kind of off topic, so I guess I was just saying if I had any suggestions in life, let's say this. I'm blessed to share my, I don't want to say, I don't want to put a number on how many years of experience I had, because of course I have been a child, I have been sheltered, my life has been determined by the people who raised me in the situation that I was in. But as far as me out here living my life and finding my way, I'm blessed to be able to share those things with you. And I feel like the main thing, and it doesn't mean that I have reached everything that I wanted to reach. It doesn't mean that I couldn't. It doesn't mean that there were barriers to block me that other people didn't have. It doesn't make me any less than or more than. But there are things about me that are blessed, and I'm not ashamed of it. And I think a lot of things, if you acknowledge that, if that's what you are inspired by when you see me, if you have witnessed me, experienced me in a good, positive way, I think the main thing that carried me through was Jesus, was the representation that I had of Jesus, of being good to people, being loving to people, not being haughty. And don't get me wrong, there were some times where I was young and I may have thought that, hey, I was cute today, or, or this or that. And we can only be human, especially mine was always after somebody who tried to belittle me. A lot of times when people thought was my confidence was just me trying to build myself up from how far somebody knocked me down. Usually if you heard me say something good about myself, which shouldn't have been a bad thing, it was to convince myself that I was worthy enough to have experiences like other people and live my life. But anyway, be present. Ask God to give you discernment. Be careful of people who force themselves into your life and your situation and your business and ask questions as if you are something to be discovered or to be broken down or figured out. Nobody has that right. Be careful of people who come in your life in any way who wants to feel like they need to break you down or figure something out or compare themselves to you. I have people say the most weirdest comparison because I'm constantly, my situation is different. I'm not an at-home wife. Nobody's taking care of me. So I'm busy, everything that you have, that two people have to work for it and can split up in time. I only have that, that same time for myself. So yeah, I'm busy. So maybe I can't, I'm not at home cooking sweet potato pies and cookies and passing them down to the neighbors or whatever the scenario is. And people will try to make you, and there'll be a whole different age group. I'm not supposed to be, you're 84, okay? Maybe it's okay for you to sit at home in a rocking chair, cook apple pies, and, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to me, and I'm darn sure not comparing myself to you. A lot of people that you don't even ask for their opinion, that you don't even admire, will force themselves and their opinion on you and make you, and for some reason, feel like you're supposed to be ashamed if you're not doing everything exactly like them. And a lot of times you're doing things for your situation that's better than them. That when you do get to be 84, have somebody be delivering pies to you, or whatever it is that you want for your situation in your life. Sometimes at 84, 44, people are being divorced. People are seeing people for who they are. All these narcissistic women are coming out of, are just as prevalent as the men, and people are getting divorced. And they're married now. You may have a marriage that lasts forever. And that's more good. Two good people, two genuine people. So you can't just don't allow anybody to put their perceptions on you now of where you should be at 20, 30, 40, or if you fell back, what you can't conquer, what you can't overcome, whether it be rehabilitation, whether you lost your children and you go get them back, Yeah, anyway, all those things got me through. So to know that you keep going no matter what, no matter how hard the situation is, no matter what you've been through. People, we've all been through some horrible, horrific things that if you see as you would not know, but actually if you've been through it, you would know, because you would know the hesitation on life, the hesitation on trusting relationships and trusting people, and the security in our voice and our tone, and knowing ourselves, and what is the word, like, you have to keep assurance of our own selves, because we've been hurt. But other people who don't know, they see it as, because those are characteristics that cocky people do, haughty people do. And I think a lot of people who are nasty people, they want to see, I don't know, it's the narcissism. They don't want to see it in them. They can't see it in them. I've noticed a lot of things. If you bring up, no, I didn't do that, you did that, they don't acknowledge it, or it's not a problem anymore when it's about them. That was the whole video right there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go into that immediately. So my first portion of this video is believe in yourself. Keep going no matter what the situation is. Fight for laws. Fight for people who, a lot of these things are re-experienced. A lot of these things people try to attack us at young youth, and take away our joy, our shine, that light that Michelle Obama spoke of. Of course, because she's been a big inspiration, I'm going to mention her. That light shines at a very young age. That I think we are already at the mentality that we should be, that hope. There's a little bit of arrogance and naiveness because there's evil people out here, but evil people shouldn't be there. People dim it, and then we spend the rest of our life fighting to get it back because we were already on the right track. So I want you to carry that light, but I want you to carry that light and take your brain with you. That light, that need to take that light with you. Take things clearly as people show you. People might say, I love you, and then they may treat you bad, may talk to you bad, may manipulate you, may make you second guess yourself, may make you dislike yourself, may hurt you and harm you. That's not love. I think that's something that wasn't told to me at a young age, especially when you're raised in a situation where love looked like that. Like these people, I've had people who hurt me or harm me, but they were the only people who loved me. If I was in a scenario, sometimes they put me in those scenarios, and they would be the people who get me out as well, or they would do something to me but not allow other people to do it to me. So when you're born in a toxic situation, you kind of don't know love, because love hurt me. Love didn't treat me right. Love tore up my homework, the night before a big test, because homework is important to that person, especially, with issues or whatever, if they're having a bad day, or a substance or whatever is in their system. But anyway, a lot of us we're born toxic. And I had a lot of love, but and because of the love that I had, actually, is why I received the hate. But a lot of people who hate me, the people who love me, love them and told me that those people love me. So I was raised to think sometimes that love hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's some people who were good to me that were bad, and people who were bad to me that were good. People who were good to me that would never, ever help, or support me, or inspire me, or just speak up for me if I'm not in a room and people say something bad about me. But then I had people who were mean to me who would do all those things, have my back, or handle things without even telling me until years later. It's difficult for us, and it takes another person in a toxic situation to understand our pain and our situations, and why we accept what we accept. But I also feel that we shouldn't be ashamed of it. I believe this is a world that puts you in situations, which was another thing I wanted to cut off my list, how they expect us to be a soft woman, and specifically a soft black woman, when we were born in toxic situations where a lot of people have experienced sexual abuse or physical abuse, um, I don't know, family abuse, hatred. You were treated like the Cinderella, the black sheep. If they put all the issues and blame on you, nobody else really had problems because you were the person that they could dish all the problems onto. You were the person that everybody decided this is the person we're not gonna like, no matter what you did, good, bad. You were the person that they could express their anger and their frustration on, and create things so that other family members can group together and have a common enemy or a common ground. And it's weird because then they'll call themselves family and they'll be like, they put you in a situation, so now you feel this way because of how people made you feel, and now you're secluded, and now they're saying, but we're all a good family. They're saying we're all family, and family's awesome, family is this, but a lot of family dynamics is to hurt an individual. And I think where I was going with that is that's how we've experienced with toxic men. Like I said, a lot of us didn't have, especially with the drugs and stuff going on, let's be real, a lot of our parents were, kind of non-existent and into different things, and we saw that as representations of our fathers and uncles, and we ended up looking for those hearts in these other men who sometimes we found out later they were on different substances and things, and we didn't want to believe it, and some people knew it, some people contributed, but they expect, after we've been through all that, after our families destroyed us, after sometimes when you get in those situations, their family done destroyed you because you're not the one for them. These families treat you bad because the man didn't choose you, not treat you bad because of what the man done to you. And you all expect us to still be these soft women of where other races, these men are taking care of them, providing for them, not letting them go in their pocket. But I'm sure there's scenarios that we don't know about. They could be beat. They could be, apparently controlled if they have all the money. But they're still allowed to be a woman. A lot of us were not allowed to be a woman. Especially if you came from a toxic situation where if you had family members around who looked at you in a sexual way. So you didn't want to be a woman. You didn't want to be soft. You didn't want to seem vulnerable. You didn't want them looking at you in that way, and at least as much. So then you go from that to not knowing how to choose to a toxic person, toxic man, individual who bring you in another scenario that you didn't ask for. You find out, he's been hostile to you. The whole family's been hostile to you because deep down he doesn't like you. He's not telling you, but he's almost competing with you as another woman or for another woman. He's hating you as if he's a woman. We're going through that, and then you have people who can't have you, never had a chance to have you, never experienced you, but there is a group of people that people are just now finding out just don't like women. They're homeboys that they would go home and talk to you about. Sometimes have relationships with, but that's a whole other thing. They just don't like women. So we have to be strong. Like I said, you don't want to be too sexual. You don't want to be too feminine. You don't want to be too soft because this is happening or has happened when you were there. It happens to people who are soft. And now you expect us to be these soft individuals where, like I said, we go to these workplaces and their women are not being discriminated against. Their women are being protected, but you allow people to have you discriminate against your women and hate on your women and ask you to combine and initiate and join to hate your women, And that's another thing, conquer and divide, because I promise you, if you look into history, that's how it is. First, we don't like the darker people, and then it becomes we don't like the lighter people, and then we don't like sometimes the people who look just like us. I'm pretty sure they were harmed as well if you didn't meet the criteria. I think it's conquer and divide. I've experienced so many companies where people smile in people's face and they pretend that they are let's put it this way, other people, because people want to not be black, Haitian or whatever descent friend. But when I'm in a locker room or whatever, they're talking about these people, but they're telling you that they don't like me as a black woman, or they don't like this person or this group, those same people are talking about you as well when you're not available, but they're telling you to hate. They're making the problem be another person. There's a lot of witchcraft. There's a lot of evil, demonic, strategic, where these people are not, they're stupid, but they're not stupid. They know what they're doing. They know how to conquer and divide. And I promise you, once they have you turn your back on us, you're next. I've seen it over and over again. You're next because you're still black. I'm sorry, you're still American, whatever. I think a lot of things for this year would be to not let people do conquer and divide on us, for whatever reason. Because I'm telling you, just as back in slavery, if you're brown skinned, if your genitals are brown, you're considered. That's where the black came from. It wasn't because this black was in Ethiopia or this black was born up the street, whatever, please. But that's what they tell you at first. But anyway, so be careful. A lot of times that you want people to be a certain way, other people, who's going to walk around in circles to please you? Your friend don't feel the same way. You want us to be this way to please you because you're telling us that this way will make your friend happy. Oftentimes your friend is lying. We're just now exposing how men have been lying on women. We're just now hushing up these guys who have been mean to women, who have went to tell their homeboys that we're doing this, and that, and it wasn't true. And excluding that they doing this, and that to us. And they're wondering why we're bitter, why we're upset, why we don't trust men. But it's not all men, but it was a group of men who do not like women. Whether they were in the process of being whatever, figuring themselves out. It took years, but do you know how many people were hurt and harmed in between that time where you all were thinking that men were really being mistreated? And I've met some mean women, but oftentimes it was lies. Oftentimes these women that were becoming single moms and different things were great, intelligent, beautiful women. They went on to be way better than the women that they were left for, or chosen over and picked over for. So a lot of things just conquer and divide, and I just be careful when you're trying to put your opinion on how somebody should be, that you should be, especially as a race, you should be, we're not a certain way because we're not, or because we're aggressive, or because there's a majority of us that's aggressive, or that I'm not black enough because I'm not aggressive, and this is the mind frame that you've taught yourself, and you've learned how to tolerate and how to deal with black women who act a certain way, when we all are different, no matter what our skin type or private areas or whatever our experiences, by how we are raised. And I don't think that it makes one person even better than somebody else, because I don't think no one person is better than somebody else. So I think I kind of went way off, but don't expect people, this world will treat you away. Okay, they will treat a pig like a pig, right? And then expect the pig to be a cow, is what I've been experiencing. They will treat a rat like a rat and expect the rat to be compared to as a sheep or something like that. And it doesn't work that way. There's just a lot of things going on to create an image so that these people are the people that you attack. And it's always in a system where the world goes around. It's this person this month or this year, and they have you join to is you next. Always. And I understand everybody want to get home safe to their families, and they're like, well, if it's just happening to them, you know what I'm saying? And I totally understand. And I also understand that there has been wonderful people that they just didn't know, and that they make sure that they program people to find only the people who, keeps the secrets away from the people that they know, people who are the bosses, people who run the companies, people who are in HR, people who have more popular influence, who know more people who are in these positions. They don't usually always know what's going on. They only have the perception that is made to make you look like that person is the enemy or that person is their own fault. And that can go bigger to even poor communities, like that these people are the issue. What happened to those people? What things and programs was created to make those people hostile? What things were taken and unprivileged and unavailable to those people or given to those people to create those scenarios? And I hope going forward, those are the questions that we ask when people come with haterade, where they tell you that this person is the enemy, or especially if they tell you that these Americans is the enemy, or these black women are the enemy, or these people from Detroit, Chicago are the enemy. Because the scary part is they even tell them in those areas or in those groups, they even get it to the point where they make us think that we are each other's enemy. And until we can break that, and that there's so many good people, and there's just so many people who've been confused and lied. So until we can break that and not allow them to keep conquering and dividing, and take a small group and make a small safe area where we're not allowing racism and sexism in it, and make it grow and expand, or they talk about build walls. But we also have to be good to each other. We also have to be, because I've noticed even within our own group, because they taught us to hate each other, there is a group, even if we're prevalent in things, there's a group of people who feel that they are better than other people who look like them, and not just because they were born somewhere else, because of their position in the family. Like I said, there's a black sheep and then there's a golden child. All these golden children use this popularity through high school, through adulthood, they almost, when you see them in these companies, they almost, I won't say protect the racism, but then they do, because they have their position and they're just looking out for them and their families, and then they have to believe, or they want to believe, they're told to believe, that whatever they say goes, and that you are a family with this group or that group. And there are some good pure people, but there's a lot of people that when it's the end of the day, conquer and divide, you're next. You are next. Especially when it's a group of people that they don't like, and you fit that group, it might not fit the time, but your time will come, So I just feel like, into this video, I'm asking that we stop conquering and dividing. We stop letting people come tell us stuff about people that's not true. Find ways to ask questions. Like now we're asking people, when did she break your heart? When these guys are telling you these obscene stories, and I've been hurt, I've been damaged, and they talking about stuff that happened in kindergarten to, high school, or their first wives, but they still like their first wife. They just don't respect you, I think we have to get down to questions. Now those are questions when you want to be in a relationship with somebody, grow a relationship with somebody, or know why somebody wants you to feel a certain way about somebody else. Not just because you're curious to know how all black people think, or not because you're curious to be in somebody's business. But if that business is, affecting you, and they're trying to manipulate how you see somebody else, there should be questions. Did this person actually do something to hurt or harm you? Did they ever put you in danger? Was it ever, was that just a rumor? And because I'm telling you, people will come up with the most obscene things. For example, I do what I have to do. I catch the bus. Sometimes I'm leaving from job to job. Sometimes I have to carry my change of clothes in my backpack. There were some racist individuals who just did not like me, who told people that there was other things in my backpack. So when I go to other jobs and I'm switching my jobs out, somebody would, I would come back and my things would be moved around because somebody wanted to see the heaviness, or I believe some people have went in my things. And like I said, and they take the most pure hearted person, and they also take the images, that they create about people, and make it fit and work, almost like a court system. That you can fit and work some stuff in there, besides sometimes facts. But if it's not factual, you can make things look like facts. And that's what a lot of these people have constructed their life to do. Divide and conquer. And I'm asking that we wisen up and we waken up and we don't allow it anymore. We wonder, why do you want so bad to make this person look bad? And it could be just flying monkeys. It might not even be about racism, And then, like I said, my intake on racism is different because I didn't have some people who look like me be mean to me. And they were, like I said, sometimes often in the same family, often in the same neighborhood. And I've had people who didn't look like me, who people told me was the enemy, who have changed my life, gave me opportunities and chances that nobody did. So I'm not probably the person to say I have a different take on racism. I know it exists, but I also know that for me, it rarely came from a white person. And I'm going to leave it at that. It didn't always come from black people. And we're not addressing of exactly who it's coming from. And it needs to be addressed. Where the people are telling people if you move here, and I don't know what's going on, but there's definitely racism, and it's not who we think it is. And often, sometimes it's us, but often it's us because of what a particular group told them or agenda that they have. But anyway, so with that being said, be careful how you think that people should be soft, or people should be nice, or people should act a certain way, because first of all, your impression is not their way of life. They're not here to impress you. Like, you could think that a woman's supposed to be soft. The men that they like could like a woman who's kind of hard and tough, and everybody, and then the people are soft because of sometimes the things that happen to them. Now you want them to change and erase the damage that's already deep. You always want somebody you've raised to be a rat, to be a horse. You've raised to be a horse, to be a cat. It's definitely a power control issue. We always want somebody to want and thrive for our validation or our acceptance that you're never giving them. Let's put it that way. You're never giving them, because it's deeper than the fact that they're a horse. It's a difference because whether it's a brown horse, a white horse. It's deeper than that. A lot of people are just not getting to the facts of their hate. They're giving you a roundabout. They're giving you an acceptance of what people will tolerate or what they'll accept. People might not accept that you don't like them because they're black, but they will accept that you don't like them because they're nice, or because they are whatever other thing you can find out, because they're young, because they did this and that, whatever is the current situation, because they moved here, moved there, because they young and old, because you think they felt a certain way. You think, I've had people think that Americans, I don't know, are hostile and like to shoot up things. And I think that is definitely in different places they believe that. When you look at the news, that is true, but that doesn't make every American that way, and it doesn't make, let's put it this way, even when Trump was being a president, do you know some of the nicest people, they had me be afraid to go to work. I have to go to work. Work has been my work, my way of survival. But anyway, do you know the people who came in there with those red hats? And that's not to say that all of them are nice. We've seen the ones on the news that's not. You can't group things, because some of those people have been the nicest people. Those people had the purest heart, and the people who were mean and just hostile with me and rude as me as a cashier or whatever, and lied on me. Some of them looked like me, and some of them didn't, but they didn't necessarily support Trump. At that time, it was an area where they were like, don't go to work because they're saying that the people who support Trump are mean and they're going to do this to you. I still had to go to work. So it's the same thing as if somebody tell you those who are black, it's usually just that time, that circle around, that they want to attack that person, divide and conquer. And I hope that this is a year that we understand that, and it is limitations within your family, is all the way up to every level of life. That's why the devil, new level, different devils. It's not only happening in our family, it's happening in their job. If you work at Burger King, it happened a lot to me in fast food restaurants. They definitely had a system. So if you become a nurse, if you become a doctor, but it's odd because also people who are high and doing well with their life, I've experienced them to not be mean, because they're kind of, if the mean people are usually people on your level, sadly, or a little bit above you, but they think they're so much greater. They have a boss, and that boss usually is not like them, but often it is. Often the boss knows exactly what they're doing. So just take your awareness and your discernment, and actually with how deep it is, if it's a scenario you have to leave. But I'm asking you to not force people for you to have an impression about what you think a black woman should be, what you think a white woman should be, what you think an American should be, what you think a person of this age should have accomplished. If you think that their life is over because they didn't, because they had a flaw back in this and that, because they're not married now, they'll never be married, and they should just be out here, or what I'm saying, you're taking people who are really good people, like they want to destroy me and my character so bad that even now, they take something like just nowhere near, years of celibacy, and they'll have a rumor you're a hoe. They'll take just things that be so out. They just need to create this image, and that's when you need to know you are being targeted, and they are trying to damage you. So, yeah, they'll help. They need so many people to believe that you deserve it, and then all of a sudden a scenario happen, or you don't want to live anymore, There's divide and conquer, and I ask this year that we are aware, that we look back on all the news stories, and we look back on different things and notice how they try to divide and conquer. And I promise you can look back on your life. When I go back to those places where people divided and conquered me and turned people against me, those other individuals, either they're not there or they create a scene when I come back to have somebody support them, because now they're the next target. And also, you can be the next target by having any sort of connection to the person that they were targeted before. They'll pretend, and they'll use you to target them. And then when that person's gone, you are freaking next. I don't know why this is so hard to complete. They'll tell you it's because they're nice. They'll tell you it's because they're mean. They'll tell you it's because they're loud. Often it's because they are either jealous of them, but you can be jealous because of racism, or you could be jealous because of how good or well somebody do. And then when we do things as a good person outside of racism also, we get different influence. People want us, and they don't understand how we can do the two different things, but you did it with evil intentions, and people smelt it and seen it, and they don't want anything to do with you and are not giving any good reviews, versus somebody who comes and do things of pure intention. And you can see the whole workplace. That's what happens. The whole things change, and your name is floating around in a good way. One thing a narcissist cannot stand is that they cannot have influence on how people see you. If anybody gives you any praise, I had that in a fast food restaurant. Person tried to destroy my name, tried to tell people I didn't want people there, I hated people, or whatever. I don't know why. But then the other people who would see that person was the problem would come in and give me praise and thank me on top, even though it was an agenda sitting down, and I believe they sent people to try to make me look bad. There were people there just with a pure intentions who knew my heart that made me look good, and still was combative with the impression that they were trying to give. And whenever somebody gave me praise or wanted to give me a tip, you could just see the anger and the boiling sensation going on in this individual and these individuals, and that lack of acknowledgement often from the superiors, because I'm not the one. I'm about to do that right next, because I'm not the one who was supposed to reach that mark. So I don't think I started this with that. So I love you. God bless. I don't say anything out of hate or harm. I wish I didn't have to experience a lot of things that I had to experience. I don't hate anyone in my family, your family, even though a lot of people have hurt me. I think that's another thing that they are presenting, that even though people have done some of the worst, disgraceful things to me that they're not going to mention, that I just decided to seclude myself, because these people were popular, these people were the golden people, these people were elderly, or whatever, that I decided I'm better than people. But they won't tell you, once again, that they created a scenario where I could not be what I wanted to be or am around certain people. They were creating a scenario that made me opt and have to separate, and the only way for me to do the things I wanted to do was to go a different routes. But let them tell you that. They don't tell you that they created a scenario for poverty, for this situation, for single women, for different scenarios. They just tell you the outcome. That goes so big. That's how the devil is an accuser. They don't tell you what they did to put you in these situations. All they tell you is your reaction, and sometimes they'll get angry if your reaction doesn't react. If it doesn't match what they needed to imprisonate you, or to create a story that you're crazy, or to make you look hostile like they have done. They've usually done it to somebody else, They've usually done it, and they intend on doing it to somebody else. Anyway, I love you. God bless. Bye-bye.